All right, everybody. Here's why your vision board isn't working and why you've been looking at it for a year or two, maybe longer, and none of what's on there has come true. Or you have a vision board, um, or you don't have one, and you don't know why you should build one or what the use is. Well, I'll tell you what. I've made and remade vision boards for myself now, and every single one I eventually hit. Sometimes it takes longer. But really, my life is just a game of creating vision boards and then hitting them. I mean, that's basically my life. Like even when I got married and when I had a kid, that was like on my vision board. Like I wanted to be married, I wanted to have a kid, and I wanted to be a certain place financially, and I did all that, you know? And then I wanted to grow my business to a certain point, did it, wanted to have a certain amount of clients, did it over and over again. And that's not me bragging so much as it is me just explaining how effective what I'll be teaching in this video is in regards to how to actually process your vision board, what a vision board actually is, both spiritually and psychologically. So I want to preface this by saying I am not a very woo-woo guy. Like I do believe that maybe I am because I'm about to say some very woo stuff. I'm very practical though. Like everything is energy, and all energy has a vibration to it, and thoughts are the same. And more than that, what you focus on, you see more of, and you literally cannot move in a direction that you can't see. So you're always moving in the direction of what you choose to see in front of you, like metaphysically, right? So what a vision board is it's a practical and detailed breakdown of exactly where you want to be from a logical perspective and an emotional perspective in order to capture both sides of your brain. And it's something that honestly just lights you up when you look at it. So in the description, I'll be linking my old vision board that I achieved. You can check it out and you can model it if you want. And it's a really powerful tool because what it'll do is if you model it somewhat like mine, it plays on a lot of different biases that our brain has. Like if you look at the images represent not just things, but states of being as well. So there's things and there's states of being. And there's also images that are a little bit more vague, that just kind of have a feeling to them. But essentially, here's why your vision board isn't working. It's because you don't understand what a vision board actually is and how to actually use one. And the way that I had it described to me that really helped me actually make vision boards work, and it's not just some woo-woo BS, is this. If you think about it, your life is like the movie Groundhog Day, okay? Our world is so noisy, and there's so many people who say all kinds of crazy things and send you on all kinds of tangents and hook you in to their narrative and get you believing things that don't even serve you. And moreover, it's just distracting. Like not only is there that deeper ideology war going on, but there's also just a distraction war, like short form content and like just how easy it is to just kind of tune out and just like watch movies and play video games and just do nothing. Or even when like you succeed wildly in business, like that still is there. Like I've had multi 6-figure months, 6-figure weeks, put, $1 million, profit in the bank. And that like pull to just kind of just do nothing is our culture, our society is so well developed that like we can afford to just lays around, at least for a while, for long enough that we don't feel the fear of that creeping up on us, right? So it's very tempting. And our world is like so distracting. So a vision board, if you've never seen the movie Groundhog Day, you can just look it up. The premise is basically this guy who forgets who he is every time he wakes up, right? And all a vision board does for me is keep me like on mission, if that makes sense. Like I understand that every day, whether I choose to or not, I'm burning caloric energy doing something, like even if I just sit on my couch and eat potato chips and watch a movie, like it's not the most energy draining, but I am extending energy doing it. Like when I wake up, there's a certain amount of dopamine and willpower that will be then, distributed into the day. So you can imagine you wake up with like 100 units of energy every day. And how you choose to invest that energy really determines the overall trajectory of your life. So what a vision board does is it should be things, in my assessment, that you can achieve within a year or two. Because you can kind of feel a year or two. Like when I'm filming this, it's December of 2025. No, 2024? That's so funny. 2024. I'm pretty sure. Just making sure. Yeah, 2024. Jeez, that's crazy. Having a kid totally distorts your perception of time. Yeah, 2024. And 2025 and 2026 don't feel like that far away. You know what I mean? Like they feel like they're like right here. Like 2026 will be here in a sec. Like it's not going to be that long. So I can kind of feel 2026. 2027, I haven't really, like that number hasn't really come into my brain that much. So planning much further or really casting a vision over my life much further is very difficult. It gets very hazy, especially in a business context because things change so much. In a familial context, not so much. Like 2027, my son will be 3. And my wife and I will have been married for 5 years. It's like, and we'll probably be living in the same house because we like this house. Like, that department of life moves much slower. But obviously has more like torque to it. Like, it's more powerful. But anyway, you wake up with 100 units of energy and attention and willpower and dopamine. And a vision board is basically there to say, here's what you're here to do, right? Because without that, drifting becomes the default. And Napoleon Hill calls these people sleepers. Napoleon Hill in his book, Outwitting the Devil, it's supposedly a conversation with the devil, right? And whether it is or isn't is irrelevant to the substance of the material. The material is beautiful. And it talks about how the devil, his trick is just getting people asleep. And if he can get people asleep, then he can control them because he can basically build like a fishbowl around them, like an ecosystem around them that just makes them just idle and almost like stuck in the same patterns of existence. And what you have to do is recognize those patterns of existence, recognize your cycles, your weekly, yearly, daily, monthly cycles, how you kind of live, the habits that you kind of live within. Like if you'll notice, like you have 2 good weeks, then kind of a weird week, then 2 good weeks, and you just have to get self-aware over these things and start to notice like how you're living, and then juxtapose how you're living and whether that person deserves the thing on this vision board or not. And then you have to change the character traits, behavioral habits, usage of language, and philosophy to fit the sort of a person who could achieve what's on that vision board, and more than achieve, maybe naturally kind of attract and be what's on that vision board. That's how you make a vision board work, is by using it as a mirror for your own character growth. And if you don't know what sort of a person you have to be in order to achieve what's on that board, that's where getting into proximity to people who have achieved it has been so beneficial for me. Like I've been willing to pay, very expensive amounts of money to be in rooms or be one-on-one, working with people who are where I want to be. Like right now, I pay easily like a high-end corporate salary a year to work with a mentor who at his peak was doing about $4 million a month with his businesses. And I can just message him on Slack. It's amazing. Just, hey, what do you think of this? And he's like, I think this. And it's like, cool. Like, it's just that like confirming my thought process around things and like how he would handle things. And it's like, that's giving me the proximity that I need to be self-aware of the gaps in my character and thought process that would make me worthy of what's currently on my vision board, which I choose to keep my vision boards that haven't been achieved yet private, because it's like, it's just me in it. You know what I mean? I don't want the pressure of what people might think of what I have on there, I think only my wife sees it, So that's why vision boards aren't working is because on the flip, think about everything that I just described, how it's a character growth, a personal development tool, the Groundhog Day concept about waking up and reminding yourself what you're here to do, units of energy. That's how you need to think about vision board. How most people build vision boards, though, is just mental masturbation. Like, I don't like that phrase, but it's a great phrase to describe what most people do with a vision board. They make a vision board almost as like an escape from reality, right? Like, so you make a vision board and it's like these nice things that would be really nice to have. And then you just go back into your normal life. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's no bueno. Like, that's a bad thing because you're just zapping your willpower. Like, you're placing all of the feel good into this like poster image that you have. This, you know what I mean? That's not what it is. In the movie Groundhog Day, this guy hangs up notes around his room of like, this is your name. This is who you're married to. This is what you're here to do. This is your job. This is, you know what I mean? It's like, and you kind of need that as a human right now, because if you don't have that, you lose track so quickly. Like, it's so easy. It's insane. Like, I think we upload, I forget the last time I checked. I think we upload like 10 days worth of content to YouTube an hour or something ridiculous like that. And the amount of material and content and ideas and messages that people hear is just insane. It's nuts. Our brains like weren't built for it. So the primary use of a vision board, in my assessment, is knowing what to say no to. Like, does this get me there? No, it's gone. Does it? Yes. Cool. Integrate it. I don't know. That's where a mentor is there. A mentor is basically there to give you the self-awareness as to whether your vision board is doable or not. Based on your current assets and liabilities, character and thinking process included in assets or liabilities. So, but most people, their vision board is just a feel-good pill. It's something they look at to get like motivated and inspired, But that's not what a vision board is. A vision board is, this is where I'm going. And if I'm making progress towards this, that's good. And if I'm not, that's bad. And it just objectifies life in a way that a lot of people have never done. They've never taken their life and been like, these are the facets of my life. This is where I want to be. Life is now a game of getting there. That's it. And it's so simple. And it's such a profoundly peaceful way to live if you can really ritualize that vision board, And I think it's also, as I'm verbally processing it, a facet of identity. So who are you? Who do you believe you are? So not just what are you here to do, but who are you? So if you look at my vision board, it's like, this is what I've achieved so far. This is what I've done so far. It's not just what I want to do and what I want to have. It's also what I've achieved so far and who I am, so that I remember who I am. Because there's a lot of negatives, and negative things can stick harder than positive things. Like, mistakes you've made, humans tend to hold on to them more than they hold on to the things that they've done that are good, and that are like positive. And those really should hold just as much weight, if not maybe more, because positive things are harder to do. You can't really accidentally do positive things. Like, you can accidentally make mistakes, but accidentally doing positive things is not, it doesn't happen that much. At least way less. That's just the order of the universe. Like, things tend towards bad. The entropy is a law of physics. So humans tend to do bad things if they're not thinking. You know what I mean? Like, on accident, you'll do bad stuff. So the good things really should logically hold more weight, but for whatever reason, our brains, they just have this like deep bias towards the bad things that we've done. And it's rare that you ruminate on the good things that you've done. And because of this, we tend to create identities around the bad things that we've done or the mistakes we've made. Maybe not the intentionally bad, like you screwed somebody over. You know what I mean? It's more just the bad stuff of like a bad call that you made. You know what I mean? And that can drive in like this Trojan horse of self-hatred that just dements and distorts all of your thoughts towards looking for evidence that you're worth hating, And that's the enemy that you're trying to avoid by writing a different story. And a vision board is not just where you want to get, it's reminders of who you are. Because again, both your own mind and the world are like kind of against you in this pursuit of becoming a higher ideal. The world is noisy and complicated, and your thoughts are mostly negative unless you intentionally choose positive thoughts. And so a vision board is, especially if you pair it with like affirmations, not just things that like you'd like to be true in a fairy tale land, but like things that are objectively true. Like if you can sit and contemplate what is like objectively true about me that I'm really proud of. And it's like, for me, when I'm in an unhealthy state, I can't really think of any, you know? But when I'm in a healthy state, it's like this. And it's not like there's no arrogance behind it. It's objectively like, that is good. What I did there was really good. And every human fights this battle. Seen or unseen, every human fights this battle. Nobody's above this battle of, am I good? And am I worth giving a good life to? It's fundamentally a battle of self-love and self-respect. I used to think self-love was like this Tumblr girl thing, you know, like it was stupid. But as I've matured, I'm like, wow, that's like a really important thing. You got to love yourself, you know, not above loving like God, but you got to love yourself, you know, and it's an important facet of building a meaningful life is loving yourself. And, you know, I've been to really dark places. Like, you know, I've had seasons where I've tended towards the suicidal. I know that sounds kind of scary, but I've had thoughts, you know, I'm like, why am I here? Why would I want to be doing this right now? This is painful, and it's only pain, and I'm having to choose in life between two, you know, between basically the lesser of evils, you know, and when you do that for like prolonged periods of time where it's like I'm choosing between lessers of evils over and over and over again, you can really start to lose hope. And so a vision board is also a logical case for hope. I know that sounds maybe dark and dire, but if you can write on there things that you've done that are just good, they're just good. You did them. And it doesn't matter if you turned 1 into 2 or 1,000 into 2,000. It's the ratio of what you started with to what you did. That's what counts. Because as you get more, you will be able to make more, assuming you hold the ratio. So even if the good thing you did was something that you would deem small in comparison to somebody else, you have to judge ratio, not total output. So if you are in a place in life where, and I'm kind of getting dark here, but this has been the genuine utility of vision boards, is sometimes, you know, when you, I know I'm going to sound like super obnoxious when I say this, but I consider myself a deep thinker. I consider myself somebody who intellectually parses through things to a degree that can almost not serve me. And when you have an outlook on life where you're just kind of always like thinking and always analyzing things, you can end up in a really dark place, because I genuinely think that people who like don't think that hard have an advantage, you know? So vision boards simplify my thoughts, you know? And it keeps me like on this like narrow like path of like, this is what I need to do, you know? And it's very satisfying, because the world of like thought is almost like an echo chamber. And that's another one of the pitfalls that you can fall into. But anyway, a vision board is there to remind you who you are, what you're here to do, and to give you a logical case for hope in times where you're missing it. And it's there to affirm or deny direction. Am I moving towards, or am I moving away from it? And it's a very simple binary means of gauging your own life. And that's the beauty of it. That's why I love vision boards. And I think that's why, generally, people have vision boards that don't succeed, is because their vision board is not seen like that. It is just a means of feeling good in the moment of like, yeah, I could probably have these things. Okay, cool. back to not having those things, and back to not being that person, and back to suffering, basically. You know, and that's not what it's for. So that's why that's how to make vision boards work. I know this video kind of took a darker turn, but I'll be honest. I was introduced to the idea of vision boards in a very dark time in my life, a time with very little hope, and a time with very little that I was like excited about in life. And you know, outside of the sheer fact that I was alive and that I knew God, you know, I believed that I knew God, at least I was Christian and had a walk with Jesus. Outside of those things, which are ultimate, those are ultimate. And I intellectually knew that, but I didn't quite feel that in my heart. You know, I needed something, you know? That's when I was introduced to the concept. That's why I subscribe to them so deeply. And I think not only are they something to help you navigate darker waters, but there's something to help you channel all the excess energy that comes when you're in treading light and easy waters. When you're doing well, life shows itself as opportunities to continue to do well. It's the Matthew principle in economics. He who has much, much more will be given. He who has little, even what little he has will be taken away. But when you're doing well, it is so easy to coast, it's ridiculous. As somebody who did well and coasted, it's amazing the things you tell yourself that it's okay that you're coasting, even though it's like obvious that you should stop doing that and you should get back to work, right? So a vision board keeps you on the offensive even when things are going very, very well and you don't have any immediate reason why you should. So they're extremely useful. And they're not just woo-woo BS, and they're not just feel-good, vibey, aesthetic boards. They are useful tools for change and direction. And when you really put thought into them and you consider them deeply and the impact of the process of writing one, it's like beautiful. So that's why your vision board isn't working. And I hope that this video has been helpful for you. I know that these ideas were very helpful for me at a time, and that's what this whole channel is about, is I want to help people build their business to at least $100,000 a month in profit. That's my whole goal, is to work with people who have existing businesses, get them to $100,000 a month in profit, maybe more. If you don't have an existing business that's doing well and serving clients well, then yeah, I don't have anything to sell you. You know, if you're just getting started, like, just eat my free material up. I'm going to give away as much as I can. I'm literally live documenting me growing a new business to $1 million a year, and it'll actually be well above $1 million a year very quickly in terms of total run rate, right? Not actual years finished at that level, which is an important distinction. So definitely check all that out. Appreciate you. See you in the next video.